So good morning, Chodesh Tov, happy Hanukkah. Thank you again to Rebecca June. Thank you for all of you for being here. Yesterday was the 6 months of Vahid's passing. I would like to honor his memory. I have decided to partake one thing that I have learned from all these challenges, and I would like to just say one thing, and hopefully every Rosh Chodesh I'll say one other thing. The past year and a half was very challenging for all of us, and the one thing that was heartwarming was the love and kindness that both of us saw from the people around us. And I am convinced, there is nowhere that I have read this, there is nowhere that it's not said anywhere, but I know it in my heart. I know it with actually every cell of my body, that every time we do an act of kindness, whether it be a text or a word or an action, it becomes part of the soul of the person who is receiving it. I am absolutely convinced with that. In that, we do not have to wait for a sickness, or we don't have to wait for a challenge. It can just become our way of life, because that act of kindness literally becomes part of the soul of the person. And Vahid left this world with a lot of love. He left it with a lot of light. And really, I'm thankful for all of you. And at the end of the day, that's what Hanukkah is about. It's about the little snippets of light. It's not a huge fire. Hanukkah is not, you're not talking about a huge, grand entrance. It's the little snippets of light, day by day, little snippets of kindness, day by day. And that becomes part, every act becomes part of our soul, not only of the person who is doing it, but also of the person who is receiving it. And so never ever take that lightly, never take that act of kindness lightly, never take a text that you send to someone to see how they're doing lightly, for everything becomes part of, we have no way of knowing, we just go about our day doing what we are doing, but it does become part of our soul. The person, the doer, and the person who is receiving it. So that's lesson number one. Today is very special. Not today, just Hanukkah is very special, but today is even more special because it's Rosh Chodesh. There is the element of Rosh Chodesh that's added to it. It is the only holiday, Hanukkah is the only holiday that spans 2 months. It spans at the end of month of Kislev, and it goes into the month of Tevet. It is the only holiday. There is no other holiday that spans both months. Right now, we are in midst of a miracle. We are in midst of a miraculous day. So right now, because we are in the vortex of time, doors are open, gates are open for miracles to happen. However, I want to ask us, what is a miracle? And what do we consider as a miracle? Anybody? Miracle?
Something that was impossible to happen, but it hasn't.
Something that's impossible to happen, but happen.
Answer to prayer.
Answer to your prayer.
Like lost hope. Having Yerushalayim as our
Capital, that's right, absolutely, that's a miracle.
After 2,500,
Yes.
that's a real miracle.
Absolutely.
All of us are seeing it.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Our children and grandchildren. I mean, when you see a baby, that's a miracle. And as you say, see them grow.
I think it's anything that the lights can penetrate into it, that's a miracle.
Anything that
That the light penetrates.
light penetrates through, that's a miracle. Every day is a miracle. Every day we wake up is a miracle. So why are these days called miraculous days? If every day is a miracle and everything is good, why are these days called miraculous days? We have this miracle and we have the miracle of Purim that was dependent on us. It was dependent really on our doing. What is it that distinguishes these days, sets apart, sets aside these days as miraculous days? Why is it distinguished? If every day is miraculous, which it is. However, there are certain openings on certain days and certain months that is more open. It attracts it more. Why? What is it about these days that is considered more miraculous?
Because we stopped to notice.
We stopped to notice what? We stopped to notice what?
The miracle of the oil lasting.
We stopped to notice. Other days we stopped to notice.
Right.
And on this day we notice. We notice the light. Okay, that's good. I like that. We stopped noticing. That's good.
Anything beyond our habits or anything beyond what we are used to, something that we can touch or feel more with our hearts rather than our mind. Anything that sits on our hearts.
Anything that sits on our heart can be defined as miraculous. Could be, yes.
I think because we are waiting for miracles to happen, more miracles happen.
Mm-hmm.
We put out that energy to see something unusual and extraordinary, and perhaps it comes to fruition.
Mm-hmm.
That positive energy of us makes it happen during these days.
Mm-hmm.
I think act of courage also is something that is out of our comfort zone that we take. Is it that we see our ability and possibility that we might call a miracle from within and without. So that's when we've noticed that a lot of things that we said, oh, it's impossible, but someone or some group or some situations were able to have the courage and faith that makes things happen as a possibility.
I was just going to say that sometimes it feels like things are impossible, and they're really not impossible. We make things possible by almost what you were saying, that we see things in a more positive way, and so things happen. When my son would get lost, and my son and I would be lost, and I would not, just to protect him and not make him frightened, I would say we're having an adventure. And he's 33 years old, and just a few years ago he said to me, you know what, Mom, I know that we were really lost. But that possibility of strength makes something possible. And sometimes it does feel like a miracle, like we were able to make that happen. It wasn't just that it happened. We put ourselves out there to make it happen. And that makes it feel like a miracle when you didn't think it could happen at all.
It's beautiful.
I think the belief that there is a light at the end of the tunnel, and just like you said, the courage of people that Hanukkah and Purim, they saw the light at the end of tunnel, and they believe that the oil will last, and they believe that they can save the Jews. If you believe there is a light at the end of tunnel, there will be, and the miracle will happen. Just the belief.
So we have courage, we have belief, we have
Maybe
strength.
belief
We
that
have
guide us, a guide to a miracle. When we believe in something, it guides it to a miracle.
Most of the miracles happen that, Hashem did it for us.
Mhm.
On Purim and Hanukkah, people take it upon themselves that initiated and start to working and happen. That's why it happened. That's why it make it. That's why it's happened that each day, but each candle, it was opening, and it become more very great. People did it.
Anybody else?
As you said, we have to tap into it.
Mm-hmm.
When we get the courage to just tap into it, it comes to us.
I think the power of your subconscious mind make everything happen. This can be a miracle. You have
The
to be
power of
positive.
subconscious mind.
It's a positive. You have to be positive in your life, and then you think of something that's going to happen. It's happening.
It's gonna happen.
And it's a miracle. Call it miracle.
So I'd like to put a different twist into it. Go ahead.
I feel that every day is a miracle because you shouldn't take things for granted, such as your walk, your breathing air, your five senses really, whether touching or whatever it is. So every day you should wake up with an optimistic mind. Like today will be better than yesterday, and tomorrow will be better than today. So you always have to look at the light at the end of the tunnel, that's what she said. And have faith and have hope for it. The 8 days, they didn't know whether it's going to take 8 days, but they had such a hope and such a faith. And they fought very hard to get what they needed to survive those 8 days. Each and every one of us, assuming on the opposite side of the river, or however you want to look at it. And each and every one of us, at the end of the day, when we put our head on our pillows, we try to accomplish what we needed to do that day. So that miracle did happen, will happen, if you have faith and you have open heart. If you be pessimistic and, oh, I can't do it, or I am not able to do it, and it's not possible, of course it won't happen. But you try to look at it as bright as possible, as light as possible, whatever you want. Just be optimistic about it. Hopefully it will happen. It's not guaranteed, but hopefully it will happen. This is the way I look at it.
Now, the way I look at it, I mean, a lot of times we wait for miracles just to happen. In the Hanukkah or the, Purim, it's the faith and just putting one foot in front of the other, believing that you can, if I do it, not waiting for the miracle to happen, just believe. And the story is, and believing God, in my, that's the way I feel, is believing God that if you do your part, maybe you'll succeed, maybe you don't, but you have somebody there with you there. And the miracle, while it was the oil and everything, it was that there weren't too many people. I mean, the odds were so much against them to win. They were against a big army, but still that belief helped them, and they succeeded. And it's, there's a goal and there's a light at the end of the tunnel, and then putting action, doing something, not waiting just for the miracle to happen. And the miracles do happen.
That's right. So you have courage, you have action, you have faith. I do want to say before I go into what I take it in a different way. Everything that we said here is true. Everything is true. But there are many angles, as you know, there are many angles towards approaching something, especially with spirituality. There are many different approaches. I do want to say that pain is real, that darkness is real. Positive thinking does not to put anybody who talks about positive thinking down here, but there are certain things that positive thinking will not take care of. And the whole point of Hanukkah, the whole point of month of Kislev and month of Tevet is that there is darkness. Because month of Tevet is the darkest month of the year. And it is not to deny that there is darkness. It is not to deny that there are things that do not need to, or places that do not need to be lit up. And by places, it starts first in our own hearts. And first it starts in our own psyche and in our own well-being. It is not to say that it doesn't exist. It exists, and it's very real. And I don't want anybody to deny that of yourselves or of anybody else to say that it's not real, because it's very real. But there is the light of Hanukkah. And that light, I will go into it in a little bit before I get, that light will light one after the other, one light after the other. We don't stop until we get to the 8th number. And 8th is infinite. It means it carries itself throughout the whole year. Not only it carries itself throughout the whole year, it's perpetually carried throughout generations. Every light that you lit, every match that you strike, it is infinite. Every match that you strike is infinite, no matter how little it is, no matter how tiny it is, it's infinite. But it's not to deny that there is no darkness. It is to say that there is darkness, there is sadness, there is challenge, but I will strike a match anyway, no matter how small it is. Miracle.
Can you open this a little bit?
Yes, I will go into it a little bit. Miracle is bringing an actual in a state of spiritual, where it exists in the spiritual realm, the existence of the actual in the spiritual realm into actual in the physical realm. That's what miracle is. To bring something, is that to bring something, to bring, no, listen, no darkness, no light here. To bring something that is actual in the spiritual realm, to bring it down, to materialize it, to bring it in the physical realm so that it could be seen, touched, felt, and spoken about. Yerushalayim was always in the actual realm, was always actual in the spiritual realm. Always. The Beit HaMikdash is always actual in the spiritual realm. But it needs a vessel for it to come down. It needs somehow, there needs to be something available for it to carry this so that it can materialize from the realm of spirituality, from the realm of the untouchable, unfeelable, unseeable, into the realm of the physical and into the realm of seeable. Everything that's in the spiritual realm, for us, it's potential. For us, it's a possibility. However, in the realm of Hashem's light, it's already done. It's already possible. It's already actual. Does that make sense? Or does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
I have a question about the ones that do not materialize into our physical world.
Yet.
Uh-huh.
Yet.
No, but let's say we pray for someone, and it doesn't materialize.
Correct.
So
Yet.
is that a miracle that has happened in the spiritual world?
Correct. Yes.
Here?
Nothing, there is no prayer. There is nothing that ever goes wasted. There is no act of goodness or an act of heart or an act of light that ever goes wasted. It has become part of the person's soul. It has become part of their light. It never goes away. Never. Never goes away. It might not look like the way we want it to look like, but it never goes away. It never goes away. Okay, so this is going to be taking a little bit of time for me to bring it into here. So the miracle is that which is actual in the realm of Hashem, in the realm of spirit, and bringing it down and making it actual in the physical realm. But it needs something. It needs us to become active in making it available, to bring it down, to make it actual in here. And what is that thing that makes this container, makes this available, makes this receptive, I should say, makes it receptive to bringing the actual from that upper realm to actual in the physical realm? What is that? So in order to go into it, I would like to take the story of Hanukkah and turn it on its head. The story of Hanukkah is about a group of Jews. They were Kohanim, to be exact. They were Maccabees who got frustrated, very small in number, who got frustrated with what was going on, with defilement of the temple, with defilement of the women, with defilement and sanctity of Judaism, with defilement of not allowing people to practice Shabbat, Brit Milah, and Rosh Chodesh, because if you take those three away, there is nothing left of Judaism. They were frustrated and tired, and they decided to take the things into their own hand. They fought the army, went into the temple, they looked for oil. They found oil, but the oil had to have the seal of the Kohen in order for them to use it. All of them were broken. The seal was broken. They could have used it under the circumstances because everything was defiled. Yet they looked for one oil. They looked and searched, and they found just one crucible of oil that the seal had not been broken. And that's the one that they lit, and that's the one that lasted for 8 days. Instead of lasting for 1 day, a miracle happened, and it lasted for 8 days. Simple enough?
Yes.
I want to turn it on its head. The story of Hanukkah is the story of our souls. We come to this earth. We defile ourselves with the words that we use, with the actions that we do, with the separation that we bring towards ourselves and towards each other. We defile ourselves. We are not aware, we don't know, we defile ourselves. And then God looks into us. He looks into us and he looks for that one crucible of oil in us. And make no mistake, no matter where we have been, no matter what we have done, no matter how we have lived, or anybody, thank God we are all good, and thank God we are all amazing here. But no matter, whoever is wherever, no matter what has been done, no matter how much defilement has happened, no matter how much of a ruin it's in, there is always one crucible of oil. Always. That's sealed, that's untouched, that's unaffected by all the circumstances of our lives, by the things that we have done with our lives, whether we have done it to ourselves or whether circumstances have done it to us. There is always one crucible of oil. And then Hashem lights that for us. Hashem lights that for us by one inspiration that we might get, by one goodness that we might get. And then the rest of it is up to us to take that light, that one light, and continue it and allow it to perpetually increase. When it's lit, it's lit. There is no dimming it. However, when it's lit, it needs to be perpetually moved. Miracles never, once miracles come, they never go away. Miracles are perpetual. A miracle that has come to earth, that has materialized on the physical earth, that is tangible, will never, ever go away. That's why the miracle of Hanukkah never goes away, and the miracle of Purim never goes away. It will never go away. But it's a partnership. It is the partnership. And what is that thing that allows this light to go from here to there and one more? And one more, even though it's dark. We light the Hanukkah candles when it's dark. We don't do it when it's light. What is that? So here's another twist for you, if I have not given you enough twists today. In Tehillim, in one of them, I don't remember which one, and I think there are a few of them that says this. It says, we cannot be saved by kings. We cannot be saved by tzaddikim. We cannot be saved by high people. We cannot even be saved by the horse of salvation, whose name is Sham. Such an odd thing to say. By the horse of salvation, whose name is Sham. Horse. We cannot even be saved by the horse of salvation, which is the horse is the Redeemer somehow. But the name of the horse is Sham. Now, how many lights of Hanukkah from the beginning to the end do we light? Altogether, 36. 44 if it's the shamash. If without the shamash, it's 36. 36 if it's a numerical value of lamed vav, lo. Yes? Yes? The numerical value is lo, 36. Now, Sham is the word shin and mem. It's completely two opposites. One is fire, it's fire. Ma is ma'im, water. It's completely two opposites. But you need the 36 lights in order to bring it together. What do you get? If you have the 36, you get shalom. You get shalom. Shalom comes from the word shalem, which means whole and complete. It means to be at peace, to be tranquil, to be serene. but it doesn't mean that there is no war. It doesn't mean that there is no darkness. It doesn't mean that there is no pain. It means when you're at peace, when you have shalom, it means that you know there is the darkness, but you know that there is also the light. And then you will take action in order to do whatever you can in order to transform the darkness. That's what shalom is. Shalom is not passive, it's actually very active. And this way, you bring two opposites together. This way, you're able to integrate two opposites. Integration, as human beings, we have separate parts of ourselves. We have the part of us that, for example, is pained, the part of us that's a mother, the part of us that has a title, the part of us that has a status, the part of us that feels lonely, the part of us, we have all these different parts and all these different dynamics that are going on. And shalom means to be able to bring all these different parts of ourselves together and integrate all these different aspects of ourselves together and make it one whole being. This is the vessel that allows for the light of Hanukkah to come in, that allows for it to be perpetually added on. Do you know who started the problem with the Greeks? Who started it? What's the story? Who started it? So the Yerushalayim was a sealed wall, and it's a long story, but just fast forward. Yerushalayim was a sealed wall. The Jews were living in there. There becomes a dispute between two Kohanim. There becomes a dispute between two Kohanim. They couldn't agree on sacrifices or something like that. And in order for them to have someone else, a third person, resolve their dispute, they invited the Greeks. They invited them right in. And that's where it started. As soon as they had entrance in the temple and the dispute between the Kohanim, that's where the whole defilement and the whole status of Jewish people started going downwards. The light of Hanukkah is the light of Shalom, is the light of Shalem. It is the light that every day, when we add one more candle, we see where am I not integrated? And it cannot be given unless you yourself are lit. The shamash can only give light to the other candles if itself is lit. It first comes from our own inner self. Where are we not integrated? Where are we not shalom? The 36 lights of Hanukkah also represent the 36 hours where, and I talked about it last month also, where Adam and Chava were in complete awareness and knowingness until they were expelled from the time that they were created, and they had this complete awareness. It was right before Shabbat, and then after Shabbat they were expelled outside of Gan Eden. But those 36 hours where they were inside Gan Eden, they were able to see. They had an awareness and light, and They were able to see the whole world, it says. And so the 36 light is the third, it represents the light that was not touched, that was not debased, that was not contracted, that's not veiled. It's pure light of awareness. Another way to look at a miracle is the amount of awareness that we have. The greater our awareness, the greater we can hold things. The greater our awareness, the greater we can create integration. The greater our awareness, the greater we can create shalom. We can close this circle without it being leaked. There is no leak in it. And so it becomes, and the 36 lights are enough lights to carry us for the whole year. Enough, even though we don't see the lights after tomorrow night, we don't lit anymore. However, it's enough to last us for the whole year. It's that light of awareness. The greater our awareness, the greater we are able to see each other through our godly souls, rather than through what my presentation is as you see me. The more we are able to see the darkness and know that the darkness too is part of God's plan. The more awareness, the more we are connected to the purpose for which we are here for. The more our awareness, the more is our action to know that we can light just one corner of just this one room and know that it's eternal. And that's what our awareness does. Awareness is also miracle. Because the greater the awareness, the greater with which we can see our lives, and the greater with which we can see each other. And when we are able to have that kind of a vision, then we are able to make it shalom. We are able to bring shalom into all aspects of our lives, even though there is pain, even though there is sadness, even though there is challenge. Shalom does not mean that there is no challenge. Shalom means that we are able to integrate with our greater awareness, with our greater vision, the challenges of our lives with the purpose for which we are here, and to continuously, not stop, but continuously lit one day after another, one day after another. And this is so apparent in the parasha of this week that we are going to read, when Yehuda, I don't want to go into the whole story, but Yehuda is standing in front of Yosef. Yosef wants to imprison Benjamin because of a goblet that they found in his sack. And Yehuda had promised from himself, had promised his life to his dad, that he will take Benjamin on him. If anything happens, on him. And who steps forward? It's Yehuda. Yehuda steps forward, looks Yosef in the eye, not knowing Yosef is Yosef, and says, you know, it's just fascinating. The whole thing is fascinating, and this is the growth of our souls. This is the growth of who we are. He stands there, right opposite Yosef, for the very reason that he put Yosef in the pit, for the very reason he is putting his own life on the line. He says, you know, my dad lost a son from a wife that he loved very much. And Yosef is from that wife, and he loves him. His soul is bound to him. If anything happens to him, it's just disastrous. He admitted In that moment, he had shalom. He admitted and he was okay with it. It was fine and he was willing to put his life on it. He said that my dad loved their mom more. And he was okay with it. He had shalom with it. He was complete with it. And because he was able to have peace with it and risk his own life for him, what does Yosef say? He removes his mask and says, I am Yosef. I am Yosef. When we have shalom, we are able to remove our masks. And we are able to say, I am. We don't need any context into which to put ourselves in. We already have that crucible of oil, all of us, that can create miracles with our shalom. When we drop, that was the growth of Yehuda. He was able to drop his jealousy, all of them. And when we stand and we say, this exists, as Yehuda did, this exists. The goblet was found in Benjamin's, you can't deny it, it was found there. It exists. And I'm willing to give my life, even though. He removes his mask. I am Yosef. What can we drop? What can we, where is the growth of our soul? How can we expand our awareness? How can we integrate not only the pieces of our own lives, but each other into our own lives? This is the miracle. This is the miracle of Hanukkah. The awareness, the shalom, the integration, and to carry that. And once it's there, it perpetually keeps on creating. It never ends. It never ends. It's infinite. It's infinite. So even though we might feel defiled in our own selves, even though we might feel small and broken in ourselves, God always lifts us. Always. Never stops. But it's up to us to take that little flame and perpetually add more and more. So thank you.